Welcome back to the Public Pool Podcast. I'm Michaela Pascal, and this is Jack the Pool Boy.
Hey.
Not John, even though that's what your Instagram says still.
Yeah.
Because Jacks are Johns. We've been over this.
We've been over this many a time. You and I is my new take, by the way.
Okay.
And this might be controversial. It might not be. I think hyphenated names are stupid.
Like two last names?
Two last names are stupid. Except if you're Mexican. Mexicans, I know that they basically carry their names.
Yeah, you get the mother's maiden name and like you move things around for middle name. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Icelandics do their names fun, and the Mexicans, you basically don't really need a 23andMe. You can just look at like, okay, what's your name? Well, okay, this is your genealogy.
Well,
this is what you have.
I've always hyphened my names.
You've always had your name. Yeah. And that's why I said it's a controversial take. But you're also, it was.
I thought I should just tack on your last name too, so I could have a bunch of last names just for funsies.
If you want to do it for funsies, absolutely. But it's more, I'm not talking about that as much. I'm talking, and especially because it's like the way you hyphenated your name, like you added it on later.
Yeah.
That's a very different circumstance. That's a very different circumstance.
But my mom hyphenated for me too. Like when she got remarried, she hyphenated.
But see, there's purposes for that. I'm not talking about that. I am a hater. I'm a hater.
Say you think that women should take their husband's last names and they should be quiet.
Yeah. That's what, was I not clear? That's exactly what that's exactly what I was saying.
Crazy.
That's exactly what I was saying. You and your mom, it's a different circumstance. It's a completely different circumstance.
But I think that's the circumstance for like everyone who hyphenates their name. Is just like, I don't want to lose my last name.
Adoption and marriage, like later on, is just a different thing. Like that's it. I'm talking more of the like, whose last name? Like I'm weirdly more like, just pick a name.
Yeah.
You know, like if it's the woman's name, great.
Would you have taken my last name?
No. That's not, but you understand my point though. At a certain point, we're like, it's always, oh God, I can't like name anybody, but there's just people that like, oh, this person is something. I don't even know where this person would be, but it was like, oh yeah, his name was
Courtney Cox Arquette. Like
Courtney Cox Arquette, but that's different. That's different. She's known as Courtney Cox. It's why like when we got married, it's like you already are Michaela Pascal. So either you stay Michaela Pascal or you're Michaela Pascal O'Shea.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's Courtney Cox Arquette. It'd be weird if she became Courtney Arquette.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like I know we're going to have a huge Justin Bieber episode, but it's like.
Yeah, we accidentally with our two segments made a Bieber episode. So baby, hold on.
I don't even think accidentally is the right term. I think it's just, it was a Bieber week.
It was a Bieber week.
It was a big week.
You know that we had that with LeBron 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Where you made a sports gossip about LeBron and LeBron was in my skinny dip. And then I feel like last week, because what did we do last week?
For sports gossip?
Yeah.
Last week I did how the NBA is rigged.
Yeah. I don't think we had crossover
like Mark
there.
Cuban or anything?
No. Mark Cuban is in my skinny dip this week, though.
Ooh.
Not to tease, but
yeah, just to nail it down. There's just a kid I played Little League with, and his last name was Nichols-Dindleback.
Well, that's an amazing name.
That's a lot of letters.
You got to keep that all.
That's an excessive amount of letters. And he had to have like a jersey. His jersey looked weird.
That's hilarious. That's like a storybook character name.
I just am always kind of like, I get it. I get where it comes from, but it's also like, oh my God, grow up. This is the way the world works.
I did go to school with a kid named, I always get this wrong, but his name was Christopher Chin, but he went by Chris Chin.
Yeah.
And so it's like, Christian's not his name. It's Christopher, but Chris Chin is what people go. Isn't that funny?
That's really interesting. I went to school with a kid named Christopher Chan. Huh. Chris Chan. And we would do that. Oh, it's like Chris Chan.
Yeah, Chris Chan.
Yours is even more.
We are on, of course, we're going to complain about our sleep again because we do every episode. We are incredibly confused on our time zones right now.
Yeah.
Because we just had another travel weekend. So we've been trying to stay on our sweet central time since we went to the draft, which I actually think we've been pretty good at.
We have been.
We've been waking up at like 7. We are up at 7 and we've been going to bed a little bit earlier.
And again, not to brag, we don't have to wake up at any time.
Yeah.
Like you suckers. I could wake up at noon every day for the most part, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not good for you.
It's not good for you. And
it's
I
not
need
good for
structure.
society.
And I love the mornings. I'm so much more of a morning gal.
I'm not a morning person.
No, I know you're not.
But I need the sun to be around.
Yeah.
I get like depressed at night if I've only been awake for like 6 hours.
Yeah. But yes, after the draft, we've just been like, we are staying up early. And then this weekend, we just went to New York to see your family. It was your brother Henry's birthday. And so we were like, okay, we're so good. Thank God.
Yes.
We were able, because we had a 7 a.m. flight. And so we had to wake up at 4.
I had to wake up at 4.
To get to the airport, do that whole thing. And then we got there immediately, just like went to dinner, like did that whole thing. And so our bodies are so confused on like what time is right now.
I've been hitting naps. I've been taking a lot of naps, which is not a thing I do.
Yeah.
And then it's lovely.
Yeah, I can never nap. I so rarely can nap.
I never can until I'm like, hey, because also for the most part, when we go to bed anywhere, I'd say on average get an hour and a half to 2 hours less than you.
Yes, definitely.
But my body's built for that kind of in a way, or at least I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
So that's why like it's totally fine. Like you getting 7 and me getting 5 is like equal.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you getting 4 and me getting 2, 4 you're at least dream. 2 you're like, I don't know if I actually fell asleep.
Yeah. That's a nap.
That's a nap. And so I get these sweet naps where I'm on like 2 hours of sleep. I've been crushing them. One of the things, because we're going to do a bit coming up, like a sketch where it's about like realizing you're kind of getting older. And I came up with a line that I like a lot, and I'm going to brag about it right now. Going to bed on purpose is such an older thing.
Yeah.
Like when you're a kid, you're told to go to bed, and like I don't know about you, I just kind of would be asleep at a certain point.
Yeah.
Like
you
just
kind of go to bed.
I didn't close my eyes.
Yeah.
I just remember waking. It would be like it felt like Severance, where it was just, now I'm awake again.
Yeah.
Like I apparently slept through the night.
Were you ever like a scared kid, like at nighttime? Like I was always kind of a scared kid.
I was never scared. I was paranoid, but in a different way, where like when I heard a noise, I would go downstairs and be like, what's that?
My brain would always like make up shapes or sounds or like movements or whatever. Like in my room as a kid, it would always take me a little bit longer to fall asleep because when it was dark, I was like, oh my God, there's monsters. Like I was always kind of an anxious kid like that.
Does that make you question the validity of you really believing that you were visited by ghosts sometimes?
No.
Even though you just said that you did make up shapes and sounds?
Yeah, my brain, because I'm paranoid. But,
Yeah. But yeah, so you can tell the difference.
I've never really had like I just saw a ghost.
Yeah, you didn't have a Ghostbusters, oh my God, I'm in the library.
It's always just been more of like a presence, like something weird is happening.
An aura. A vibe.
You know, I remember one time, I think this probably one of the scariest things that ever happened to me as a kid, like literally like my heart fell on my ass was, I remember my aunt one time she was telling me about the idea of like manifestation and like all that stuff. And she just was like, you could just put something into the universe, like whatever, like it could just happen. Like if you just say it. And I was like, okay. And I had it was a UFC poster in my room for some reason. There was I don't know why I remember this so vividly. I had like it was like a weird promotional poster.
Yeah. Well, that's what they all are.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool. So
Who was on it? Chuck Liddell.
I think it was Chuck Liddell or Tito Ortiz or something like that. And I put it, and I just said out loud in my room, I was like, when I wake up in this morning, this poster will be off my wall.
And it was?
And when I woke up in the morning, this thing had been up for months.
Yeah.
The poster was like only the bottom was taped. It had like fallen in the middle of the night. And I literally woke up and I ran out of my room. I was like, I don't fully understand manifestation. It's got to be a ghost.
when we moved to our new, like my parents, in like 8th grade, we moved to a new house and my brother and I shared a room. And my mom basically said, instead of paying to have everything wallpapered or painted in your room, I'm going to give you guys each $100 and you can get posters and fill your room. So we did. We got like at that time, like all posters had like a clearance section. It was like $1 posters. So we got like 200 posters essentially.
Yeah. You guys, the posters are still up. Your room is covered.
And it's not even what it ultimately was, because over the years, my younger brothers have taken posters.
Yeah.
And that's for the most part, I'm like, yeah, do it. But we moved in, we only had one bed set up. So we shared a bed that night, the first night. And my mom was like, we're not going to do tape. We're going to do this poster putty.
Yes. That's what the UFC poster had on it.
Okay. So then this might actually kind of answer your story a little bit about how that happened.
It was up for months. The timing of me saying it out loud and then the next morning it was down.
We put it up. It's pitch black. There's nothing in our room except our bed. And we have school the next morning. And I remember we were like trying to go to bed and it was kind of eerie because we were on basically it was an attic turned into our room.
Yeah.
And this is before carpet was put down. Like it was an attic. It was legitimately an attic. And I just remember like we heard like a noise. And my brother Henry is a lot more scared than I am of things, especially at night. Like he slept in my bed for the longest time. We slept with the lights on for the longest time because he was scared of it. And all of a sudden we heard another noise. And I said, "Whoever's there, show yourself." And Henry,
how old were you?
I was, I think, in 7th grade, actually. So I think I was 13, Henry was 11. I said, "Show yourself." This is before I really hit puberty too, so I was pretty small. And Henry goes, "It's not funny." And then all of a sudden, just the first poster we put up with the stupid poster putty was slowly collapsing and just making like noises. Anyway,
show yourself.
Poster putty, the dumbest shit ever.
I know. I had that on all my posters too.
Yeah, it's just like just use a nail, or tacks.
Or just tape.
Just tape it.
Good old fashioned tape.
Tape's fine. I don't know why you talking about that remind me. Did I ever tell you the weirdest thing that ever happened in my entire life? Something where I kind of like can't believe it happened. And I know it did happen because again, my brother Henry was with me and he's confirmed it. When I want to say we were 10, so I was 10, he was like 8, or maybe I don't know, around that time period.
Yeah.
We were, I think, in New York and we were visiting these people that like, they weren't our cousins. Like I haven't seen them since, I don't think.
Yeah.
But we used to, I guess when I was a kid, we would see them all the time. And then we moved to these, I know this is like really vague and whatever, but like basically we visited people that I never saw again, but I had seen previously a few times at their house.
Kind of like family friends.
Type thing, where it's like, hey, our kids are the same age, they're going to play, which everybody, if you remember when you were a kid and you're like, oh yeah, I was friends with him in kindergarten and then we moved and then I saw him when I was in 5th grade. It's really fucking awkward, even though your parents are like, go play.
Go play with your friend.
I know nothing about this kid. Is he into dinosaurs? Because I'm not. So I don't want to talk about it, nerd. Anyway, we broke out into a musical number.
What?
Yeah, that's what I just said. We were playing basketball. I'm not even kidding you. This happened. This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened in my life. I think about it once a month and I'm like, that's crazy. We literally came up with a song on the go of playing back. This is pre-High School Musical.
You're improving.
We improved a song that was a legit song and like we all knew the words and we broke out into a musical number and then the song ended and then we continued to play basketball. And it wasn't it
wasn't a fever dream.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't because it's people who were there have said, no, that did happen.
It was the musical episode of Grey's Anatomy.
It was basically that. We came up with a song and we had like a dance routine with these basketballs. Like it sounds so insane to say it. And I wonder if it's happened to anyone else. I don't know.
Or does it feel like the song was better than it probably actually was?
Oh, it for sure was. No, but it was a full song.
Yeah.
With the routine.
Yeah.
We did that. And then we just kind of kept moving on. I remember the whole time, everyone was kind of like, what are we doing? Like it weirdly felt like, how did we all know the words to this song we're making up? And it was about basketball. It was literally the High School Musical scene.
Huh.
That's the weirdest thing that's ever happened in my entire life.
I was going to say, no, I have not heard that.
I kind of blacked it out because it was so insane that I'm like, is this a simulation?
Yeah.
Like it felt
like a different timeline really quick where everything's a musical.
Imagine if High School Musical was real where actually people do. It was like a...
Did you ever see High School Musical?
Bits and pieces.
Okay, because I was going to say that was out of your age range, so it was...
Yeah.
At the time.
That was for the age range I was at the time. Watching High School Musical would be something we would have at the time called gay. So I didn't do it.
Because
I wasn't gay. I'm like red right now.
Oh, yeah.
Almost embarrassed. No, about telling that story. That's like one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. It's like it's obviously not as bad as being like, and then this happened to me. Like, but it was such a strange thing that I kind of blacked it out. Being like, it was like seeing an alien.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm never going to tell anyone about this because they won't believe me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you fully believe me, and I don't think you should.
No, it's not that I don't believe you. It's that you probably felt a lot better than it was. Like, it was.
Of course.
But I know what you mean.
It was the song. The lyrics were equivalent to "Get Your Head in the Game" too. Like, it was like that. Has anything ever happened in your life where
a million things weird shit have happened to me?
But like things where it's like another person was there and you're like, yeah, this did happen.
Yeah, definitely. But I can't remember.
Yeah, it's hard to recall.
It's hard to.
I keep that memory so deep down. That you saying the ghost thing weirdly brought it up of me being like, I was once in a real life High School Musical.
Yeah, I mean, because I was going to say like, well, along with alien things, like I was very convinced that I saw an alien as a child.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, if I just say it, it's just like you were a kid. You know? And
there's explanations for it.
But it's like, I have like memory of when, because it was like, I was still not crib age, but that when you go to that next bed, that's like on the floor.
Trundle? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I think trundle beds are the ones you pull out.
Okay, yeah, that's just what we always slept in, the trundle beds.
Yeah, but it was like the one that's like it's basically on the floor when you're a toddler. Like
starter bed.
It was like a starter bed.
Hey, if this dumbass rolls out, he won't die from sudden impact.
They'll just be on the floor.
They'll just all of a sudden will be on the floor, maybe with a bruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just have a vivid memory of like looking up at the ceiling and like seeing like it was like a face like on the ceiling. And it's like if I close my eyes, I could still see it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it was probably a dream.
Yeah.
But in my heart of hearts, I'm like, there was something in my room.
Yeah.
But nobody would believe me because I was by myself when I was a child.
You're such a light sleeper though too, that like I feel like you kind of do have waking dreams a little bit.
I do. Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah. Do you think dreams mean something?
Yes.
Do you think that they mean something? Let me reframe that. Do you think that they mean something in the sense that like they can having a certain dream might mean that you are currently stressed? Or do you think they mean something like it's the future telling you?
I think both, because I've had things like I can't off the top of my head, but like where I've been in a moment and not been like, oh, this is deja vu, but being like, I've had this dream and now it's happening to me.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot of those before where I'm like, this came to me in a dream. This is maybe it's a form of deja vu. Like because I get deja vu all the time. Like that stresses me out. I'm always.
Why does it stress you out?
I don't know. I feel like I'm like switching timelines or some bullshit.
See, you're the cutest thing ever. You're just the cute. Oh my goodness. The problem is you're such a damn believer. I love it.
I am.
No, it's a really good way to live. It's a really good way to live. It's way better than jackass old guy who naps all day and is like, there's probably an explanation for it. You get to live.
I swear to God, one time, this is going to sound so stupid.
No.
I swear to God, one time a guy's password came to me in a dream.
Okay, that's stupid. I'm kidding. No, that's amazing. It worked. That's okay. So,
but then I was like, maybe it was subconsciously like I
no,
it. I don't know.
Well, do you think that you?
But I felt
what was the password?
It was like a code, like a phone code, like a 1 2 3 4, like a.
Okay, here's how I know that's real. Well, unless it was 1 2 3 4.
No, it wasn't. But I don't remember what it was.
Here's how I think I know that's real, because you are dyslexic with numbers.
That is true.
And your memory isn't like, world renowned.
Yeah.
So for like, I don't think you could have subconsciously seen someone do a number thing and maintained that it would have been it would have been gargled up.
Yeah, the fact that I know my phone number is actually really impressive.
Yeah.
I cannot recite numbers to save my life.
No.
Like if someone's like, can you read me out that address? I'm like,
I don't even ask you.
Like it's probably the most stressful thing in my life is reading out numbers, and like my brain can't connect those things.
Yeah.
Or spelling out loud is very hard for me.
Well, I feel like a lot of people spelling is I think unless you are like someone on the spectrum person like me who's I really take spelling seriously. I feel like no one can spell.
Well, like like out loud, like when you're like spell house, and you're like, oh, like you say
good,
it.
spell house.
But like
I'm kidding.
It's the thing where I'm like, okay. Because you see things,
yes,
in your mind, like, and you're like, when you think of, if I say like spell house, do you see the word house?
When this is the most okay. When I talk,
is this episode making sense? We're
not high.
Sleep deprived.
We're not high. When I talk, and even when I listen, like when you're talking, your words become text in my head.
Okay.
Is that not normal? Because I don't think it is. I realized that a while ago. Like, basically, it's why when people spell their names weirdly or wrongly, it really bothers me. But after I know how they spell their names, it doesn't anymore. But because like when they're like, oh, they're referring to someone and I find out that I've been spelling it wrong in my head, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, because so it's like if I'm trying to spell a word out loud, they're like, how do you spell house? My brain I see the word house.
Yeah.
But then I'm back to reading it. Like it's the same thing. I'm reading it from my brain and I can't do it.
You're dyslexic inside your own head as well.
Because then I'm like, okay, let me read this. And I'm like, I'm getting jumbled up. Like I can't, it's really hard for me.
Yeah.
I hate it.
This is either our best episode, by far our best episode, or we can it. Yeah. We're just like, sorry. This is either, we're not high.
Have you ever had, I was like, I like these conversations that we're doing. Have you ever had one of those feelings somewhere where you're like kind of where you get
out of here?
Like, get out of here. Like you're uneasy, you're scared. Like suddenly you have fear for no reason.
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple of those where I'm like, I'm just going to leave.
That always listen to that feeling.
Yes.
Always listen.
So on my birthday every year, there's a meteor shower. And my best friend, Jake, he was like, oh, like, let's go out to the desert and go watch the meteor shower, like away from like the lights or like the city so you can like see the sky better. And so like we drove out to kind of like the middle of nowhere, like no reception. Yeah. Whatever. And we've like been there before, but I think it was just like I was nervous because it was dark and it was like silent. Yeah. We were in the desert. You can kind of hear like animals, like that thing. Like after being there for like 30 minutes, I kind of just was like, I think we need to leave. Like I just kept feeling,
we should go.
I kept feeling like I was being watched. Like I had that like someone's watching me or something is watching me, like an animal. Like I don't know, but like we were only there for like 30 minutes before I was like, I really want to go home actually. Yeah. And I remember always kind of feeling a little embarrassed about that because I think we had like 2 other friends with us. Yeah. But I was like, I felt so in my gut like something's about to pop out at us.
That's how you know you're with like your best friend or your person. Where like if you were with me, I can't imagine if you said, I think we need to go, I wouldn't be like, let's go. Yeah. And it's that feeling of like comfortability of like when you're with other people, it's not their fault. You feel uncomfortable saying, you're like embarrassed. Yes. Like, I feel uneasy, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So like that was, but yeah, there's been a couple times where I've had that like I need to get out of here feeling.
So you know what's kind of trippy? So I just read that for one of the things that the CIA teaches like their spies, their operators, is that when you're trailing somebody, when you're tailing them, never look at them. Because even if you're behind them, people can sense if they're being looked at.
If you're being looked at.
Which to me is like okay, let's study this.
No, it's definitely a thing.
Like it's a thing. You know when eyes are on you.
I always know when someone's looking at me.
That's a sixth sense that apparently we have where it's like an aura thing.
It's like an animal's watching you in the wild. Yeah. They're stalking you for you're their prey. Yeah. You know?
Why wouldn't we learn that? Why wouldn't that be something that we would evolve to learn? But it's like, where is that coming from?
Yeah. How do you know?
I think it's ears. I think that it's like very subtle, like vibration, but that doesn't even make any sense. But
it's like you feel it because like even when we were at that bar the other night, and we walked in, we were standing there in a group, and I just felt someone staring at me intensely, and that's when I grabbed you and I turned you to face the guy.
That was a weird guy.
And I was like, I feel like someone's staring. And you were like, yeah, that guy's like looking. Like, and
it
was like
the guy who saw me and me was like, Celia.
Yeah, and it was like I didn't even look at him, but I could feel from like my side and like my back that I was like, someone's looking at me right now and is like staring. And so I just was like, I'm gonna move you and be like, you look.
Yes. I'm trying to think if I've had because I know I've had plenty of experiences where it's almost like the stomach drop feeling where it's like, for me, it's like your stomach starts cramping. Yeah. Like there's like a knot all of a sudden. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. Yeah. And I can't remember a specific time, but I know that that's happened to me plenty of times. Usually it's in a setting where it's like, it's in a wilderness type thing. And I bet you it's like a rabbit's looking at me. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't want the rabbit to look at me.
I don't want to be looked at.
No. Do you think it was a person looking at you or do you think it was an animal?
I don't know. Freakier, I guess, if it was a person because it was like the middle of nowhere.
I actually bet it was a person, and I'll tell you why. Because I think if it was an animal, it could be a tiger. I think you would have been like, let me pet it. I don't think that would have been a.
Well, it would have been because we were in the desert. It would have been like a coyote or like a bobcat animal. Like it would have been like one of those.
You think you could? How do you think you do against a coyote?
That's a hard one.
Because I think you beat a coyote.
Objectively, I think I could beat a coyote.
And everybody's like, what are you talking? Dude,
coyotes are kind of small.
Yeah,
they're a way bigger, like a wolf. No way.
Of course not.
But like coyotes are like small dogs. They're after your small animals.
Yes.
If you had a German Shepherd, they wouldn't go after your German Shepherd.
No.
They would go after our size dogs.
They would eat our dogs almost immediately.
Yeah.
They would run away with them.
I lost almost all my cats to coyotes growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, the coyotes aren't something to be fucked with.
And they also don't really want anything to do with you.
Yeah, well, most animals don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
Unless they're bigger than you.
Uh-huh.
They're like, but that's for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, everybody's so like, no, like it's literally just a size scale.
Uh-huh.
Of just like, hey, like why it's always blew my mind that like rhinos and hippos stay away from elephants.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like the elephants seem kind of nice.
Yeah.
The rhino also seems kind of nice, but like
rhinos kind of just mind their business. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah, they're just so chill.
They're just big and they have a little horn, but like
yeah,
hippos are the ones I'm like, peace out, you know?
Yeah, hippos are terrifying.
Hippos are scary.
Yeah, hippos, them in the water, it's kind of like, but it's the fatness. I hate saying like, oh yeah, I actually have zero fear about going against like a coyote.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have all this douchebags be like, okay, typical like douchebag thinking. No, I'm not saying I wouldn't get hurt.
Oh yeah,
I'd be bloody, but I could sit on it.
But I've seen because I grew up in more of like a deserty climate. I've seen coyotes 24/7, and it's like no, like they kind of avoid people.
Yeah,
because they know like you're bigger than them. Like they'll run across the street and stuff like that, but they're not really going to come and antagonize you unless they're like rabid.
What's the scariest animal to have a gun? Like what if an animal had a gun? What breed would be the scariest one with a gun?
That's a good question.
Because the answer is house cats.
Yeah.
I think
sometimes they're so indifferent. Honestly, I feel like it's got to be something like a wasp. Those guys are
they already do.
But they're always looking for a fight, you know?
Yeah, they're always trying to fuck with you.
They like know that they're scary. That's the worst part is that they're small and they're like, huh.
Yeah. What do you do? I'm going to go freak out this shit. I mean, I would too though. If I was a wasp and we were hanging out, I was like, oh, look, a fucking giant.
Yeah.
Watch me go freak him out.
Yeah.
Ha! Pussy. That's what I would do. And then, yeah. No, that would suck. To me, it's like, it's cats because, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Cats are kind of jerks.
The answer is probably like a goose.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
I have in my notes, isn't it crazy?
Okay.
Think of all the different plastic surgeries there are. People get nose jobs, they get breast enhancements, they get butt jobs, everything possible under the sun. People are now making themselves taller. They do this thing where they like break their legs. Insanity.
I can't even think about that one.
And some of them, it's so weird. It's like they move from like 5'9" to 6 feet. And it's like, it's not that different.
Yeah.
How is there not penis enlargement surgery? How is that the first one invented? I don't think so. Isn't it like, how is that not the first one invented?
And
because there's like vaginal tightening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's more of like an outer surgery. Like it's like the entrance you tighten. You can't really tighten the inside. But when people are transitioning from female to male.
That's why I thought of that.
You can choose. I've heard that you can basically like choose your size.
You want to talk about something that makes me very, very uncomfortable? Hearing about how they turn one genitalia into the other. I don't like that at all.
It's crazy, but it also makes so much sense.
It doesn't though.
It does.
It's all because everything is always in book. It's just inside out.
Because that's the way that we develop though. Like
I guess.
Like when you watch the way the baby develops thing, it's like I think we all have a penis first and then it either goes in or goes out. Like okay. But it's like this, like we're all kind of like, that's why you have nipples. You have no need for nipples. Yeah. But it's like at those beginning stages, we have like the same basic stuff and it either goes one way or the other.
Yeah. And
so it makes sense, but it's so crazy that we could just do that.
I can't imagine I just can't imagine it. That, and I think I want to know the first doctor who's like, I got an idea.
I think I could do it. I know.
I think I can fucking do it. Because what a nutcase.
I know.
I mean, I guess for a lot of people, it makes them very happy. And so good for that absolute
awesome that
psychopath who was
exists.
like, I'm going to take a shot at something. But my God.
I know.
Like that stuff. So anyway, that was just a random thought I had. I was like, how is that not like all over the world?
Yeah.
You know, there's literally everything else. Like people in Korea like dye their eyes so that they're lighter.
Yeah, all the procedures in Korea is like kind of an interesting thing that not a lot of people talk about, I feel like. Because they have such an interesting set of beauty standards.
Yeah, and it's going to go away because they're just not having children. So when our grandkids be like, there was a place called Korea.
Yeah.
Like, used to be people there.
Yeah. You know, speaking of the
Koreans,
I was going to say,
what's your big beef with the Koreans? You always are ripping on them. I literally, anytime I see Michaela upset, I go, what did the Koreans do now? And by the way, I'm not talking about North, South. You're Team North. Kim Jong, woo, that's what you say.
Yeah.
Go on, though. Hate on the Koreans more. Do it.
I was actually going to bring it back to vaginal tightness.
Okay. Well, speaking of Korea.
We'll just start saying that now. Speaking of Korea.
Yeah, speaking of Korea.
But I will say, so bring the topic to vages, some vaginas. When I was doing Brazilian waxes for a living, and I always love hearing everyone talking about they're uncomfortable with how they look down there, blah blah blah.
Yeah, of course.
People are. Which, of course, what a vulnerable thing. And so people are always just like, oh, like, I don't want anyone to see mine. Or like people are now calling them like outie vaginas. And I'm like, it basically, if your like labia is longer than your lips, like type of thing. And I am always like, guys, most people's vaginas are like that. I will say the one time or the couple times I've ever actually kind of like double taken like a look at a vagina has been when I'm like, that person got it nipped and tucked. That's when I can tell, is when it's actually, not that it looks bad, but like that's when I could actually tell the difference on one, is where I'm like, this has been sutured up and nipped and tucked and all that stuff. And so I just wanted a PSA. Outie vaginas are normal.
I was going to say,
keep saying.
Were you expecting me to say anything during this monologue?
That was just more of a PSA for me, is I just always hear people ragging on themselves, being like, I don't like mine, mine's not normal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yours is the norm.
Okay.
So,
okay.
PSA to the ladies out there.
You knew the second you said labia.
Let your labia fly, okay?
That I was like, I'm not going to weigh in on this. It's a little girl.
What? Why is that the cutest little face in the world? What is happening?
If you're watching on video, our dog just did the cutest thing.
Oh my God, why are you just looking at me?
She's just looking at you. But yeah, the second said labia, I was like, well, I'm not going to say anything for a while. I almost have like an internal rule of whenever we're just, and by the way, it's not like there's at any time of day, Michaela might just start talking about labias.
I'm so good, by the way, on the podcast, not saying things as vulgar as I normally do.
And I thank you for it.
And I think that like nobody really knows like how vulgar I really am.
You are so crass. Your mouth is like a dumpster with some of the stuff you say.
You would think that like you being the like, you're a comedian guy.
Yeah,
like,
no.
You're always the one that's
I'm actually like a little bit prude.
You're a little prude with some of the stuff that I say. And that's always like that. You give me the look of a conservative woman. That's like, why would you say that?
I'm literally like, what? Like, you'll just drop stuff on me.
Sometimes you'll just basically take my speaking rights away.
I just am like, I'm not going to listen to you for a little bit. I need to pretend I didn't just hear you say what you just said. You just will say the most like
when I said that there was a lady in our gym who was showing whole.
And I said, I'm not going to talk to you for a while. I'm not going to. I was like, I don't know what your next words are going to be, but I feel like you're ramping up into something that I don't even understand. Something I can't even communicate about.
Why is she sitting
while I have her like here, do you want to do a little sports gossip?
Yes, what is happening?
All right, are you ready for sports gossip?
Hit me, sister.
Okay, so today I'm going to be telling you about how Juan Soto is the Justin Bieber of baseball.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so both Juan and Justin were super young superstars who burst onto the scene.
Okay.
All right, so like in 2018, at 19 years old, Juan Soto was literally the youngest player in baseball. He came in second place, and he came in second place in the Rookie of the Year voting.
Okay.
Well, in 2010, when Justin was 15 years old, he became the second youngest person ever to have an album debut at the top of the charts. Like, they were wunderkinds. There were those people. Like, oh my God, bursting onto the scene super young.
Superstars.
Yes. But that's not to say that both Justin and Juan weren't controversial, like, from the start. Like, I mean, there were plenty, like, they immediately had, like, tons of people who respected them for being so talented at such a young age, and they had, like, tons of fans. But they also had a lot of people who were like, okay, one, they're overhyped, and two, they're a bunch of immature, like, snot-nosed teenagers.
Like when Justin went to Anne Frank's house and said that she would have been a Belieber.
Exactly like that. Like, yeah, like, for Juan, like, he would, like, taunt or, like, show up future Hall of Fame pitchers when he wasn't even old enough to drink yet. Like, people didn't like that.
Yeah.
Juan's first relationship with the Washington Nationals lasted 5 seasons, while Justin's first relationship with Selena Gomez lasted 5 years.
Gotta keep an eye out for Selena.
Now, according to Justin and Juan, both of these relationships ended like mutually, like on good terms and stuff. Like they separated like mutually.
Yeah.
But, you know, there were rumors that it was a lot rockier behind the scenes and whatnot. Post breakups, Juan had flings with the Padres and Yankees, while Justin had flings with Chantal Jeffries and Sophia Richie.
And everyone else in Calabasas.
And during this time, Juan had 2 of his best seasons while Justin released 2 of his best albums, solidifying both of them as like the real freaking deal.
Yeah, icons.
Not just like teen idol flavors of the week.
Yeah.
So when Juan finally becomes a free agent again, the rumor starts swirling. He's going to go back with the Yankees. He's going to get back with them. Meanwhile, Justin, same exact thing. Once he's single, everybody's like, okay, wait, he's getting back with Selena, right?
Yeah. And then they did briefly, and then they broke up. And 3 months later, he was married to Haley Baldwin.
Yes, and after flirting with other teams for like 2 or 3 months, boom, all of a sudden we find out that Juan is basically marrying the Mets when he signs a 15-year, $765 million contract.
Big money.
Yeah, right? It was like a record-breaking contract. I think it's the biggest contract ever in pro sports.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, he's like guaranteed Hall of Famer. He's a really, really big deal.
I remember when like first hearing about him because you were telling me about him when we first started dating and you're a Nats fan.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to retain the information because I was trying to like, interesting.
Juan Soto.
My way into some dick. So I was just really...
But meanwhile, like, no, because at the time too, it was like, hey, we have this like young 20-year-old kid. We're going to the World Series. Like, he's playing out of his mind. He's really good.
Yeah.
But we'll see, because sometimes those guys just fall off. And it was like, no, he's the real freaking deal. He's only gotten better every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, just as like the Jelena stands are pissed because they think he should be with Selena, the New York Yankees fans are so freaking furious because not only did Juan choose another team, he chose their crosstown rival, the New York Mets.
Yeah.
Which brings us to present day, where it's like, just as like fans in the media like are constantly trying to like poke holes and stir up controversy in like Justin's marriage.
Yeah. Like they're always trying to be like, oh my God, he should be with Selena. He hates Haley. Like, oh my God.
That's literally what is happening this week right now in baseball. Because now all these rumors are coming about that he wanted to sign with the Yankees, but apparently like the rumor is a Yankee security guard like offended his family. And so his family was like, you're not signing with them. You're going to the Mets, which is like, that's pretty juicy as far as like baseball goes.
Yeah. And just like how Justin, they're like, oh my God, like, no, the church made him marry Haley. Like it's an arranged thing. It's like, not, he didn't do it on his own. Like
for both of them, apparently they were forced into these marriages.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's just always all these videos of him like walking ahead of Haley, closing car doors on her, like showing up to her events dressed in sweats.
The big story this week in baseball is that apparently Juan Soto flies on his own private jet away from the New York Mets, like not on the team plane. And that he like stays in like a separate hotel away from the team. Like he doesn't like the team.
Oh my God.
It's pretty obviously not true.
Yeah.
Just like it is with Justin and Haley.
Yeah, but the Yankee fans want to make a rift,
basically. Anybody's just trying to poke holes in it. You want to know why? Because he's the Justin Bieber of baseball.
Yeah.
All that's left for him to do is to join some weird like Hollywood cult church.
Yeah.
And then he'd be officially the Justin Bieber of baseball.
Yes.
Do it, Juan. We believe in you.
We believe in you. Well, speaking of Bieber, I think we should get into the skinny dip because we've got some stories with him this week. Welcome back to the Skinny Dip, the segment where I help you dip your toes into this week's pop culture news by giving you the skinny.
Let's dive in.
The first big headline is that Hailey Bieber got the cover of Vogue. She looks stunning and she was just opening up about her experiences giving birth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for her.
But yeah, so big deal. She looked phenom. But the attention on this was actually diverted pretty quickly because Justin Bieber decided to make a post about this, captioning it. Yo, this reminds me of when Haley and I got into a huge fight. I told Hales that she would never be on the cover of Vogue. So So baby, you already know. So baby, you already know, but forgive me for saying you wouldn't get a Vogue cover because clearly I was sadly mistaken.
Is that the worst apology? And that is him basically just saying, one time I verbally abused my wife by telling her that her dreams would never come true. Well, they have. I was wrong.
I was sadly mistaken.
What a good husband. Good job, Justin.
He did, after getting a bunch of flack, edit the caption just being a bunch of emojis.
In the clear.
It's so funny with all of the drama around like Haley and Selena and Justin. All these problems start with Justin.
Yes.
Justin is a dick to everyone.
He's a dick to everyone. But it's also like, can you imagine being him?
No, I could never.
Can you imagine just getting whatever you want whenever you want
Whenever you want, yeah.
After a while, you're just like, I expect whatever I want whenever I want it. Is that not what happens?
Yeah. No, like literally, honestly, another headline that I didn't even get into this week is actually there was an independent investigation on basically Justin Bieber's debts. That was a whole thing. That was more like last week, so I didn't really get into it. But basically, he canceled a tour. Yeah. Like after like 2 shows or something like that. But he had been given an advance.
Yeah.
He didn't have the money to like pay it back, and so Scooter Braun took on the money of that, the debt, and he basically was like, "You can pay me back later," and then didn't, and now he's no longer a Scooter Braun or whatever. But Scooter Braun basically said to him, you owe me like $1 million, which like isn't that much in the grand scheme of like how much he was basically covering for him. Yeah. And Justin Bieber's argument was like, no, you were taking way more off of royalties than you were supposed to. And so they had an independent investigation from, I forget who. They do one of like the award show things where it's like
Ernst & Young.
What?
Ernst & Young.
Maybe.
There's like 3. Yeah. PwC.
Maybe that's who it was. Yeah. And they were like, actually, no, Justin, you owe him $8 million.
Yeah, that's yes, yeah. So you covered your debts.
So it's like, that's a whole thing. Because I remember a couple of years ago, basically, Justin Bieber sold the rights to his music, and for
$200 million.
And it was, for a lot less than it could have gone for. And also, it was like, it's a little premature to sell your music.
Yeah, you're still making them.
Yeah, and so that was, I think, in the midst of him trying to pay off his debts, he's still dealing with debts thing. And while everyone's giving Haley a hard time, Rhode just got her beauty company just got evaluated for almost $1 billion. Okay. So she's going to save his life essentially.
Well, and he admitted he was wrong.
He was wrong.
Her dreams would come true.
Okay. But yeah, so that's the Biebs on that.
And that's the Biebs on that.
Yeah. So basically she did Vogue, got a bunch of flack because everyone hates her for no reason. And she was talking about how literally she was like, I thought I was going to die during childbirth. And just immediately all the attention goes to, why did her husband write this weird ass caption for her?
Do you think Justin was aware that she thought she was going to die during childbirth? Do you think Justin's aware he's a father?
I don't know.
I think it's a Tom Cruise type situation where it's like, he's just on another planet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's also high. He's on drugs.
Yeah. We worry for him. We pray for the Biebs.
I defend the hell out of him too. Yeah. I think he was Macaulay Culkin.
Absolutely. I think he's in a lot of situations, like in his dating life, I'm like, no, he's a little shithead douchebag. Yeah. But in like the grand scheme of things, I'm like, no, he's a victim and like to a lot of things. And also, can you imagine being him? Like that just changes your brain.
I know this is just continue down this tangent, but I read a story about when Scooter Braun discovered Justin Bieber on a YouTube video. Basically found him covering a Neo song. And he wasn't even looking for anything like that. He just happened to click on it. And so he eventually tracked him down to Canada. And his mom initially was like, no, because Scooter Braun was Jewish. And his mom prayed and was like, God, I know if you wanted me to send Justin with anyone, you wouldn't have sent me a Jewish boy. And the church was like, no, sign the deal. Sign the fucking deal.
That's insanity.
Yeah. Canada. All right. Classic Canada being not tolerant, as they always are.
Rude Canada.
Or what else is in the skinny?
Okay, so the next big story is that Motley Crue's Tommy Lee and influencer Brittany Ferlin, who got married in 2019, are separated.
No, never saw that coming.
The initial source said that they were separating due to his drinking.
Okay.
But it has now come out that Brittany actually was being catfished by someone posing as Ronnie Radke, the frontman to the band Falling in Reverse. So she was having a little affair on the side.
That's the biggest.
With the catfish.
Is that the worst way to get caught cheating? They're not even cheating on the right the actual person.
And so I guess what happened was, I think she maybe confessed to Tommy, and then
he called Ronnie Radke.
He like chewed him out. Like he was like, "You're talking to my wife, this and that, blah blah blah."
And she said, "You're drunk."
And and he was like, "It's not me. It's I've never talked to your wife in my life. Like I don't." And so he's now gone to social media to like try to clear his name and do this, and he's really upset because he's like, "That's one of my idols, and he hates me right now, and I didn't do anything." And
interesting that Tommy Lee is taking a real stand on infidelity. He seems a little hypocritical. Yeah.
Yeah, especially a couple of years ago when he was like, the whatever boys trips he takes are not for wives, they're for girlfriends only. But yeah, so that's been the big news. And she basically got online, is like, "Yeah, I got catfished. Okay,
I'm an idiot. This is embarrassing. I'm gonna dive on the grenade."
Which literally, that's kind of what she's saying. She's like, it's embarrassing. This is what happened. And it's like, honestly, yeah. Next, Bill Belichick and his girlfriend Jordan have reports that she has told, quote, at least one person that they are engaged.
Love this.
And then Bill Belichick himself kind of dropped a little bit more of an Easter egg by upgrading the name of his boat from 8 rings to 1+8 rings.
So that's about as clear as Bill Belichick will ever get. If you know Bill Belichick at all, he's a very stoic, quiet man. That's him loudly saying, "We got engaged."
And I kind of love it for them.
I love it for them.
I'm rooting for those 2 crazy kids. Leave them alone.
Because my question is, which one's the victim? Because if the answer is neither
or both,
it
equals.
Good for them.
They're having a good time.
Oh my God. It's good times.
It's a good time.
It's good times for everybody involved.
Yeah. We're rooting for that. We're on your team.
Haters hate it because they're haters.
Yeah.
Good for both of them.
They don't get it. So yeah, we're always in their corner.
Yeah. I will always be in their corner.
Yeah. There was some reports actually that just came out too this week that but it was a story from December. It was a holiday party that she showed up to a party in Nantucket without him, and his ex-wife was there, and she like basically said like, "You need to get out of here," and like was like making a scene, telling her to like leave the party, which I was like, leave the girl alone. Like, take it up with your ex-husband.
I need to know more details about the party. Was it his ex-wife's party?
Then that would be different. But I think it was just a holiday party. And
was it the Belichick family Christmas party and he didn't go with her?
But I mean, it'd be weird if it was a Belichick family Christmas party and he wasn't there.
We don't know the family dynamics.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I of course I'd be frustrated if I was his ex-wife, but
sure,
take it up with your ex, not the new gal.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some quick headlines from this week. Kid Cudi is now set to testify in the Diddy trial because after dating Diddy's ex, Cassie, allegedly Diddy set his car on fire.
You could say he's on the pursuit of happiness.
You could.
By getting closure.
Yeah.
You could.
And this is all alleged. We don't.
Oh my gosh, it's alleged. God. Although it sounds pretty concrete.
It sounds like Diddy firebombed his car.
But Diddy would never do anything like that.
Isn't that so funny how it's like that's so far down on the list of offenses?
I'm like, what? Forget.
Like,
who
cares about that? But like, what he's done is so bad.
But Kid Cudi's like, I care.
Yeah.
The fuck was that?
Scarlett Johansson hosted the season finale of SNL 50 and ended the show by kissing her husband, Colin Jost.
Boo. Fun. Sounds funny.
So funny. Mark Cuban has officially left Shark Tank.
Ooh.
While he was on the show, he made $33 million worth of investments, and he's made back $35 million in cash returns, and he holds equity of at least $250 million.
Not a bad return.
Not bad.
No.
Kim Kardashian released an updated version of the infamous nipple bra, now with a new pierced nipple bra.
I love it.
I will be buying one.
I'm waiting for them to release the pancake nipple one.
Yeah.
Where they're huge nipples.
Huge nips.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington had a heated exchange at the Cannes Film Festival with a paparazzi who kept grabbing his arm.
Fuck that guy.
Like, don't touch Denzel.
Don't touch anyone.
Right?
Yeah. Have you not seen Training Day? Don't touch him.
Don't touch him.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's your skinny dip for the week.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a weird week for celebrity news because I was really trying to like not make it just
Diddy.
Here's Diddy.
Yeah.
Because that's all that's happened.
Because all these celebrities are involved in it. It's
been Diddy trial, and Kylie's been in Turks and Caicos, and she's been getting a lot of paparazzi bikini photos. So that's basically been TMZ's website all week.
And now back to Turks and Caicos, where Kylie is living.
And they love to do Turks and Caicos, and then they post ass shots.
That's fun.
It's fun.
That's,
you know.
Honestly, even if the pictures weren't that good, they'd probably be like, the title sells it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. But it's, yeah. Nothing too cray-cray, I guess, this week.
Nothing too cray-cray.
Yeah.
I think we call it.
I think we're calling it. This might have been a short episode.
And that's fine.
Might be if it is.
That's fine. It'll probably be like an hour. All right, guys, that's it for the Public Pool Podcast. Have a pina colada. Towel off. Love you guys.
Love you guys. See you guys next week.
See ya.